Using a shaky head. Using that. Oh God. Oh God! A lot of people say finesse fishing is only for clear water and little fish. I'm gonna say they're wrong.
Show us exactly what you were using to finesse this fish.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times in the post spawn, you know, there's different ways to get them to bite. But one big way to get post spawn fish to bite when it's tough is finesse fishing. Even in dirty water, even in places with a lot of cover where you think surely you're not going to use a spinning rod, you know, this little deal will help you out. But you know, the equipment, this is my normal shaky head and equipment. It's a 6'6" Abu Garcia Veritas rod. And you know, I want that action to be about a 60-40 bend. So if we can step back here and you can look at the bend of that rod, look at the bend of that rod, about 40% of that rod, so about from the 6 guide up, about 40% of that rod is tip. But a lot of that rod from here back, from that 6 guide back, is backbone. You need that backbone to set the hook. The next thing is the jig head, you know. Lots of good jig heads on the market, you know. Some have springs, some have pins. This is a jig head that I'm getting ready to design for VMC that's got an offset hook on it. It's one of the things I love for shaky heading because it allows me to Texas rig the bait and the bait doesn't pull off like it does on a lot of the springs or keepers. So it's a 3/16 ounce head and then the bait, you know. And if you look at this bait, this is my ideal shaky head worm. It's a 6-inch straight tail worm. It's got a little bit of bulbous tail on it. And if you turn it around, it's got a flat bottom on it. Flat bottom's super key. And this is a new bait by Berkeley Havoc. It's called a bottom hopper. Larry Nixon actually designed this bait. It's just green pumpkin, red flake. And I'll take that worm out of the pack, and the first thing I do is I want to bite off about 1/8 of an inch of that head. I just bite that off. And what I've done is I've created a seat on that worm. And so now I'm going to thread that thing on there. And again, because the hook is offset, it's going to allow me to Texas rig it. I'm going to go around the bend. That flat side seats to that head. And I just do my normal Texas rig. I always want the flat side of that worm facing down. So we talked about the worm, we talked about the jig head, we talked about the rod. The reel, it's an Abu Garcia, it's a Revo 20 size reel. And then here's probably the most important part of this, is the line. 8-pound Berkeley Trilene, 100% fluorocarbon, clear line. And fluorocarbon's what you want to use when you're shaky head fishing. Fluorocarbon's what you want to use when you're finesse fishing. Because as this bait falls, that fluorocarbon's dense, it sinks, and that's going to allow the worm to glide down. That big fish I just caught hit on the initial fall. So instead of a Texas rig or a big jig that most people throw at those bushes that go like this, this thing is gliding as it falls. And that's going to catch you more fish. Let me tell you, if you've got post-spawn fish, if you've got tough fishing, get yourself one of those Havoc worms, get yourself a little Abu rod and some Berkeley Trilene fluorocarbon, and you're going to catch more fish. Using it on a VMC, offset, shaky head. Using a shaky head, using that. Oh God. Oh God! Even little baits can catch big fish, baby. Look at that.